Let's talk about the numbers here. When we're looking at the national polls versus when we're looking at battleground specific polls, what are you seeing when it comes to the demographic and how are they changing?
Sure. Well, nationally, as would be expected, Trump is winning the male vote. Harris is winning the female vote. Harris is winning the low education vote, those with less than a high school degree, and those with college or more. And Trump is winning the voters in the middle. And again, education is a proxy for whether you are on the lower class, middle class, or upper class professional class. So you could say that Trump is winning those middle class voters across the country. And then Trump is up by 11 points with white voters. Harris is up with black voters as expected, but she's underperforming Biden's performance with black voters in 2020. And what I mean by that is that Biden carried about 90% of black voters in 2020. Harris in the poll is winning 67% of those black voters. Trump is winning 26%. Do I think that 26% is a little bit high for Trump? Yes. I think that as those undecided black voters, is about 7% of them, make up their mind, they're much more likely to go for Harris. And, Trump might be polling a little bit better than what he'll get. But there is some alarms that are going off here with black voters. And you saw even as recently as this weekend, former President Obama on the stump basically called out the problems that the Harris campaign is having with black males, right? And that they're not showing the enthusiasm amongst black males and really them coming out and voting as much. And then just to tie a bow on it, I mean, Trump is doing fairly well with Hispanics. He's at 37%. There's room to grow there, and 9% of Hispanics still remain undecided. Harris is winning about 54% of Hispanics. So again, Trump is performing very well with Hispanics, and that can make a meaningful difference as Hispanics make up their mind. And then Trump is winning the rural vote, 57% for Trump, 36% for Harris, 7% undecided. They're splitting the suburban vote, interestingly enough, especially given the advantage that Harris has with women. So Harris is at 48% in the suburban vote. Trump is at 47%, and 5% remain undecided. And then, as expected, urban areas tend to be more liberal. They tend to break Democratic. So Harris is winning urban areas by 55% to 34%. And I'll put a final point here, which is amongst voters who have already made up their mind, Trump and Harris are tied 49% to 49%, with only about 1% which are unsure. Um, Amongst those who are still weighing their choices, Harris has an 11-point advantage. She's at 39%, Trump is at 28%, and the unsure are about 33%. So this is how the polling is breaking out at the national level, and there's very few differences between all registered voters and those who say that they're very likely to vote in the election. These numbers change maybe by 1 percentage point or less, but the battleground states are a slightly different story, right? And that's where Trump starts showing that he has the edge.